am emoții pentru Simeon. Am emoții și cred că
Remember this? This stuff was all over social media back in 2019. Some low-quality footage of two massive Russian dudes slapping the shit out of each other in a barn somewhere. It created the kind of clips that the internet just couldn't help itself from watching. The footage looked ridiculous, but it was impossible to ignore.
And I was like, what the is this, right? So I take a deeper dive into it, and it's got 350 million views on YouTube.
When UFC President Dana White saw the footage, his instinct was not to laugh at it and move on. He actually saw some serious potential.
What if I did this? Made it an actual sport, got it sanctioned, and put good production value behind it.
A real league with real athletes, real events, real broadcast partners, athletic commissions, sponsors, and the same promotional mind that helped turn the UFC from a banned laughingstock into an $11 billion sports empire.
Now people look back and they say, oh, UFC was an overnight success. And no, it wasn't. Like, there were at least 5 years there that were very difficult.
Take the most viral part of combat sports, remove everything complicated around it, and turn the whole thing into a new league. Power Slap was supposed to be Dana White's next big combat sports experiment, and he was right about one thing immediately.
The answer is billions of views. Billions of views globally. We have over 1 billion YouTube views, right? 8 of the top 12 largest YouTube shorts against other major sports are Power Slap.
That is also where the problem starts, because not all views are created equal. Curiosity is not the same thing as brand loyalty, and a clip that shocks someone for 10 seconds is not automatically the foundation of a real sport.
What are we doing here? I know. It's free brain damage. Like, why?
Power Slap may have solved the easiest problem in modern media: how to make people stop scrolling. But after the TV launched, a Rumble deal, the move to YouTube, the bill and view claims, and the constant footage of people getting slapped unconscious, it still has not answered the question that actually matters. Has Dana White actually built a real sport?
The Fighting Business is one of my favorite new channels going right now.
Thank you to The Fighting Business. Absolutely amazing.
When Power Slap first launched, the format was simple enough that even someone who had never watched a slap fight in their life could understand the stakes instantly. Two people standing across from each other, one gets a clean slap to the head, then the other gets a turn, if they're still conscious. That simplicity was the selling point.
It's just like when the UFC started, we had 5 events a year. We figure it out, it starts to grow. But yeah, we definitely know we need more events and we want more events.
MMA at times can be hard for new fans because so much of the sport lives under the surface. Whether it's footwork, feints, cage control, wrestling threats, takedown defense, clinch work, jiu-jitsu on the ground, and all the little tactical decisions that separate elite fighters from everyone else. Power Slap stripped almost all of that away and built itself around the moment that everyone understands: a good old-fashioned knockout.
Oh, God! Flatline. Stop playing.
When you're scrolling on your phone, this type of content doesn't need a 3-fight rivalry, a breakdown of championship lineage, or a technical understanding of any kind. It can appear on your feed with no context, create a reaction, and disappear just as fast. But this kind of attention has a ceiling. Yes, combat sports are inherently violent, but the sports that last are never only about that primal brutality. The UFC did not become what it is today only because people like knockouts. Boxing did not survive for more than a century because people only cared about damage. The violence is the gateway for the viewer, but the story is what makes people stay.
It's gonna be a good fight. We're gonna slap out each other, guys.
And that is the central issue with Power Slap. The league has proven that people will watch the impact. It has not proven that people care before the hand lands. Before a single hand was thrown, somehow Power Slap already had a pretty sweet TV deal with a legitimate network in TBS. For a new combat sports property, that is completely unheard of. Most sports or leagues spend years trying to get distribution, credibility, and mainstream exposure. Power Slap walked into all three because Dana White had credibility thanks to everything he had to go through with the UFC.
The UFC was worse. When we would walk into a room, nobody wanted to hear the fucking UFC. The UFC is fucking gross. You don't fucking hit somebody and jump on top of them and start beating them. It's disgusting. It's fucking this, that, and everything else.
Which is the same thing they're saying about Power Slap.
100%.
Dana's argument here is basically, people laughed before, and they were wrong before. But what White leaves out is that the UFC comparison only works if Power Slap develops the same level of depth and substance underneath the initial shock value. That is what TBS was supposed to reveal. Could Power Slap build characters, stakes, rivalries, and a reason to care beyond the knockout so that we could actually follow it consistently?
You're doing dishes?
Yeah, so that's someone else's bag.
Oh, that's old? Do you have anything else? Is there anything like cool you want to show me? Okay.
Well, the early numbers didn't exactly scream yes. According to the Nielsen ratings, Power Slap TBS premiere averaged only 295,000 viewers, losing to reruns of Big Bang Theory and Family Guy. For a brand new property with Dana White attached and national exposure, that immediately made the launch feel smaller than the hype around it. But one number alone does not kill a show or a sport. The issue was what the numbers suggested about audience behavior. People were curious enough to sample the latest spectacle, but not committed enough to make it feel like a serious weekly television product.
This is going to be the biggest opportunity of your life. You guys are literally launching a sport, and when you come out of this competition, you'll be world ranked.
A short-form content in its truest form requires very little commitment from its audience. But watching an entire program on TV, let alone a series, takes time, attention, and emotional investment. It asks viewers to learn names, understand stakes, recognize champions, and most importantly, continue watching even when there's no shocking moment every 60 seconds.
It was funny, I was sitting there the other day, my daughter had just got this big box of stickers in the mail, and I told her I wanted some straight out of D's nuts, and ain't nobody got time for that.
Power Slap was easy to notice, but much harder to follow. And on television, that difference matters. So after the poor ratings, Power Slap would be forced to leave cable television and find a place that would offer them financial security, but not exactly for the sport itself.
It's official, everybody. Rumble is now the exclusive home of Power Slap. All you have to do is download the app on your smart TV or go to rumble.com. We will see you on Rumble.
In many ways, the Rumble deal was a saving grace for the sport. The young league was forced out of TBS after a disappointing first run on cable, but miraculously, Power Slap found a platform partner willing to spend serious money for exclusive programming, Dana White's name, and a young male audience that Rumble clearly wanted to reach. Reports have put the Rumble deal at around $30 million per year, which is meaningful money for an entity very much still trying to prove itself. For Power Slap, that kind of deal created financial oxygen. It allowed the league to look like something with a real commercial value, even while the broader sport continued to argue whether it should exist at all. But that is where the Rumble era gets complicated. Because the new media upstart did not simply inherit a sports property that had already proven deep demand. What Rumble was really purchasing was attention. It was buying Dana White's name, the controversy around the sport itself, the young male audience Power Slap was trying to reach, and hopefully that slap fighting could become the kind of exclusive content that drew more eyeballs to Rumble.
All right, boys, so Spidey, you're finally...
Let's go!
Let's go.
Sorry, I love you.
Have fun in the back. I fucking hate you, man.
The company's own CEO, Chris Pavlovsky, praised Dana's visionary skill, saying, as I said before, when Dana White speaks, we listen. Which definitely made the partnership feels less like a normal sports rights step and more like a platform trying to attach itself to a spectacle before it went to the moon. But as we know, that's not how it turned out, and Dana's own defense of the league kept drifting back to a different kind of proof. At UFC 288, when Power Slap was still being mocked by a lot of the combat sports world, Dana defended it like a businessman more than a sports commissioner.
The deal that I just cut for Slap is bigger than the UFC deal we cut with Spike TV after the first season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Now, that really sounds like something special, but it also reveals the crux of the issue at the heart of the Rumble era. The strongest proof of success was not that fans had made Power Slap undeniable, it was that a platform was willing to pay for it. And those are not the same thing. Now, Rumble didn't need Power Slap to be the next UFC overnight. It needed recognizable content. It needed headlines. It needed a younger male audience. It needed a reason for people who had never used Rumble to hear the name Rumble in the same sentence as Dana White. In that sense, Power Slap did not have to prove that it was the next big thing. It only had to prove that it could generate noise, and Dana understood that better than anyone.
I don't give a shit what the media says about it. They don't matter.
Again, that is perfect promoter's language. He's basically telling the room that the media can laugh all they want because the business already validated the product. But the more he leans on the deal as proof, the more obvious the question becomes. Was Power Slap growing because fans demanded it, or because the right platform decided the attention was worth buying? That question seemed to have been answered after 2025, when the partnership was not renewed in the same form. Because if Power Slap had become everything Dana White said it was becoming, if it had turned into a major subscription driver, a platform-defining sports property, or the kind of exclusive content that Rumble simply could not afford to lose, the logical move would have been to extend the deal. maybe even increase the investment. You make Power Slap a central part of the platform's identity because it is bringing in users, keeping them there, and proving that the audience is not just clicking clips somewhere else, but actually showing up on your platform. But again, that is not what happened.
You couldn't pay me enough money to sit there and let even you slap me like that. That's crazy. So for me, that's nuts.
As a fan, it's awesome, but as an athlete, definitely would never do it.
Couldn't be me.
And when a platform pays real money for a controversial sports property, rides through the early backlash, gives it time to grow, and then does not continue the partnership in the same way, it strongly suggests the return on investment may not have matched the original hope. The Rumble era did not prove that Power Slap had built a loyal sports audience. It proved that controversy, Dana White, and viral violence were valuable enough for a platform to pay for. But platform money can only protect a young league for so long. Eventually, the product has to leave the shelter of the deal and prove what kind of audience is really there. And for Power Slap, that next stage would lead them to the biggest video platform on the web. When Power Slap moved to YouTube, Dana White presented it like a choice.
You know, we could have been on television. We had television offers, but I don't want to be on television with it yet. I like being on YouTube. Reaches more people. Nobody tells me what to do. How about this? It does 1 billion views a month, which doubles what we did last year.
That sounds exactly like Dana White. Control the narrative, highlight the strengths, but hide the weaknesses. As for Power Slap as a brand, YouTube does make sense in one very specific way. A slap fight KO is built for the platform. The setup is quick, the violence is immediate, and the payoff is understandable even if the viewer has no idea who the athletes are.
We feeling good.
We're feeling great.
Let's go. Are you gonna bark?
Huh?
Are you gonna bark?
At you?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. More. She like that shit.
Somebody slap this
Yeah,
man.
she like that.
Someone can click a short, watch a man get dropped, react for a few seconds, and move on without needing to understand the rankings, the title picture, or the story of the fighters. That is why the move can be spun as a smart distribution. But from a business perspective, it's hard to ignore what changed. Power Slap did not move to YouTube after proving it had become a premium live sports property that platforms were fighting to own. It moved there after the paid distribution chapter ended, and reporting around the change made clear that YouTube was not replacing the Rumble deal with the same kind of media rights fee. The league could still make money through sponsors, especially with VeChain, a public blockchain platform attached, but that is a different model, and that's the real issue. YouTube gives Power Slap more exposure, but does not automatically give the premium value of a UFC.
I think it's total trash. I think it's garbage. It's disgusting. I have no interest in it. It's not a sport. It's worth nothing more than a 10-second clip.
If a sports is gaining power, the next step is usually more leverage, bigger right fees, stronger partners, better time slots, more demands from companies that want exclusive access to the product. Power Slap's path looks different. It became easier for people to watch, but harder to argue that the full product was becoming more valuable to distributors. It's not that YouTube is a bad home for Power Slap, it might be the perfect home, but that almost proves the criticism.
Perhaps a personal question. Did you watch the premiere of Power Slap?
Yeah, okay. And you're right, that is a tough one. No, I did not, but I feel as though I did.
Like, I love a great, wild and crazy thing, and I struggle with it.
I think it's good in short form, like a nice TikTok clip of somebody getting slapped and knocked out.
Contrary to what White will tell you, maybe Slap was never meant to be a weekly television product or a premium sports league. Maybe the best version of Power Slap was always free, open, viral, and built around clips that travel faster than the concussive blows themselves. Speaking of concussions, every combat sports has a moral argument attached to it. Boxing has had that argument for more than a century. MMA obviously had it from the beginning with the human cockfighting label. Any sport built around collision, damage, and physical risk must explain why the danger is worth the reward. The best answer usually comes back to skill. In MMA, damage is part of the sport, but so is the ability to avoid it. A fighter can move, clinch, wrestle, counter, change levels, manage distance, defend submissions, and make dozens of tactical choices that reduce danger while creating offense. That's why fans can watch a violent fight and still see craft.
There's so much more to MMA. It's certainly more complicated. It requires more of you. You have to train in multiple disciplines. You're not just training in using your hands, you're training in kicking, elbows, punches, knees, takedowns, submissions, submission defense.
Power Slap, on the other hand, has a harder case to make because the central image of the sport is built around removing defense. That doesn't mean every Power Slap athlete is unskilled. Within the rules of the game, timing, accuracy, weight transfer, durability, and composure all matter. But the rules of the games are the problem. Dr. Mike Vasharsky, who is both a physician and an experienced combat sports participant, explained the criticism in a way that is hard for Power Slap to escape.
On Slap?
Yeah, I mean, not just Slap, but like the most dangerous sports. And to me, like, it takes the worst part about combat sports and accelerates it.
That quote right here explains it all, because it gets to the core of the issue. Boxing is already criticized for repeated blows to the head. MMA is already criticized for brain trauma. But those sports at least allow defense, movement, conditioning, and a wide range of skills that can reduce damage or change the fight. Power Slap takes the head trauma and makes it the centerpiece.
I don't think any commission should be backing slap fighting. I think it's one of the most just senseless, unnecessarily risky and dangerous sports.
The athlete stands still, the hand stays away, the strikes lands clean, and the moment that would be treated as a defensive failure in most combat sports become the actual structure of the competition.
If you've been knocked unconscious, you have had a neurological change. You've had some neurological symptom. Almost guarantee that Slap League, if you were to CT scan these people, some people would have hemorrhages.
The data makes that fact of the game even harder to dismiss. When you compare Power Slap to other major contact sports leagues in the world, the estimated concussion indicator rates show a scary contrast. The NFL being at around 5 to 10% of diagnosed concussions per season, MMA in between 10 to 20% per fight, and boxing, with most of the damage inflicted to the head, being around 15 to 25% of diagnosed concussions. A 2024 peer-reviewed study found roughly 79% of contestants showed visible signs of concussions in reviewed Power Slap bouts. That is nearly 8 in 10 participants who get involved with this sport suffer one or probably multiple concussions every time they get on stage.
Oh, good for you. And where do you work?
Power Slap.
That's it now. No teeth? You got all your teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Teeth.
I did suffer a fractured orbital on one of my matches, but
that same study found concussive signs after 29.1% of each slap and 51.8% of sequences. And for Power Slap, that is devastating because those concussive blows are almost always the sport's most shareable moments. The blank stare after impact, the delayed attempt to stand, the body stiffening, the crowd reacting while someone tries to collect themselves in real time. In other combat sports, those moments enhance the experience. In Power Slap, it is the experience.
Person turns on the TV and I watch Power Slap. I'll tell you what I do. Okay, I watch match 1, and it's the same. I watch match 2, it's the same. I watch match 3, it's the same.
You're actively waiting for it as a viewer, whether you're a casual or hardcore fan. That is what makes this risk to reward equation so ugly. That doesn't mean every athlete is being exploited. Adults make choices, and fighters will choose to take the risk every time. But a business model can still be judged by what it asks people to risk and what it offers them in return. Dana can point to big views and sponsorship, but if the league's most reliable selling point is still the spectacle of undefended head trauma, then Power Slap will always struggle to join the world of mainstream sports.
My adrenaline's so high I can't even feel it. I'm gonna be sore as shit tomorrow probably, but it's the name of the game. It's why I'm fucking here. Repair, come back, be the machine that I am.
The problem is not simply that Power Slap is violent. The problem is that the violence appears to be the core of the business, not a byproduct of the competition. And once that becomes the core, the final question is not whether Power Slap can survive online. It probably can. The question becomes, is it even worth it? Now, if the leagues were creating major stars and providing them with life-changing money, or even basic life insurance, defenders of Power Slap could at least argue that the athletes understand the risk and are being meaningfully compensated for it. But fighter pay in Power Slap is even less transparent than the already mysterious UFC pay scale, and the reported numbers around low-level competitors suggest many slap athletes are risking serious head trauma for a few $1,000.
Фактически вот здесь плюс только вот это вот. Когда приезжают, еще вот либо везде только еще постельное достаются и все.
The machine around Power Slap looks massive. Dana White is behind it. UFC production muscle is behind it. Viral clips rack up huge numbers.
There's a bunch of people out there that want to get into the AEW or the WWE, and these guys will jump off a ladder onto a table full of tacks for $50 a night. You can come into Power Slap and make a shitload of money.
And maybe for a small number of people, that is true. Maybe a champion, a viral personality, or a crossover name can turn Power Slap into something meaningful, but when you zoom out from the promotional language and look at the limited pay information that has surfaced, the picture gets a lot less glamorous. Remember the concussive rate for each major contact sports league? You'd expect the salary to scale with the risk factor, but it simply doesn't. So while the concussive risk is by far the highest, the pay is also by far the lowest. Numbers that have floated around publicly estimate the top names or champions getting $10K or more per event, while mid-level names or lower-tier competitors can get as low as $2,000 to get brutally smacked in the face, basically a month's rent for a few years of your life. Sounds like a fair trade-off. The most commonly cited example came from former UFC fighter Eric Spicely, who said he was offered just $2,000 to show and $2,000 to win his first power slap fight. So, if it's not for the money, why else would anybody do this? Maybe it's for a chance to be in front of millions of viewers, a chance to build your name, your personal brand, and go viral. Problem is, sure, a fighter could go viral for being part of a crazy KO, but being viral is not the same thing as being famous. Viral does not mean you have leverage. Viral does not guarantee the next check, the next sponsor, or a career that survives once the reel stops getting views.
I was always getting high and getting into fights, so I was definitely the burnout. You know what I mean? Like, he's not doing anything with his life.
That is the fighter pay problem Power Slap cannot escape. The promotion sells massive attention, but for many of the athletes, the trade still looks painfully uneven. A gamble where the athletes are risking the most and receiving the least. That is the real story of Power Slap. It may be successful as viral short-form content because the format is almost perfectly built for that world. A clean slap knockout is quick, brutal, easy to understand, and shocking enough to make people stop scrolling even if they have no idea who the athletes are. But building a real sport requires much more than that. Power Slap launched with almost every advantage a new fight property could ask for. It had Dana White's name attached, the highest level of production in sports, and a national television launch on TBS that any league or promotion would dream to have. And after all of that, the league feels less like the next UFC and more like a higher quality version of those videos Dana saw on YouTube in 2019, still trying to convince everyone that this is a legitimate sport. But real combat sports give people a reason to care before any damage takes place. It builds stars, rivalries, stakes, and memories that last beyond the highlight.
We interpret as human beings the world through storytelling. And stories are only as interesting as the characters. We need to know who they are. We need to be invested in them. We need to know what makes them tick, what they want, what their goals are, what's the obstacle in front of them, how big is the obstacle, what's on the other side of the obstacle.
Power Slap's biggest moments typically work the other way around. The damage comes first, the clip spreads seconds, and whatever story exists around the athletes is often left behind. So maybe Power Slap can keep surviving online. Maybe the clips will keep doing numbers. Maybe Dana can keep pointing to views, sponsors, and social media growth as proof that the experiment worked. But attention alone does not create legitimacy. And for critics, that is what Power Slap really proves. Not that Dana White discovered the future of combat sports, but that in the modern fight business, even the most dangerous product can look successful if enough people stop scrolling. Power Slap is one example. Nina Drama is another. In one of my recent videos, I broke down how the UFC's obsession with attention and virality is slowly hurting the legitimacy of the sport itself. If you enjoyed this video, go watch that one next. Click here.